Welcome back to my channel, Statistics for Applied Linguistics. I'm Dr. Marnie Minegra, and in this video today, we are going to look at avoiding plagiarism by referencing. So first, we need to discuss what exactly is plagiarism. So plagiarism can be defined as the use of ideas of others as your own, copying text without a citation. So if you're directly copying it and putting it into your article, committing literary theft. You're stealing the ideas of others and presenting an idea as a new or original idea when in fact it is not. So how can you avoid plagiarism? Well, the first thing is you have to cite your source. And this will be with the use of in-text citations along with the bibliography or the reference section. Additionally, your sources should be credible. So use credible sources. And then also you can avoid using plagiarism when you are organizing and structuring your ideas out. So board the questions that you want to ask, use your notes, create an outline, know what your ideas are, and then anything else that you're building into that where you're finding background information to support your ideas, that's where you're going to use your references. So when writing an academic paper, avoid citing the following. These are not credible sources. So online blogs, opinion pieces. Opinion pieces are subjective, they're not objective. News stories. News stories may contain biases, and the reporters might not entirely understand the science that they're reporting. Television programs, and of course, your own beliefs or the beliefs of others. So these are not credible sources. We're not going to look to these places to find citations. Instead, what you should be looking at are research articles, literature, textbooks, literary reviews, book chapters, and then also websites that end with .edu or .gov. Those tend to be credible. Now, if you are discussing a trend in the population or a generalization, there should be references. And in the case of generalizations, there should be more than one. So a generalization should have supporting evidence. Don't just assume that this is factual information that everybody knows. So here's an example here. There's a widely held belief that, I notice there's more than one source here. And between these two references, we've got a semicolon, we've got the last name, comma, the date, semicolon, and then last name, comma, date. Here's another example. Throughout human history, SLA has been a commonly observed phenomenon. And then again, we've got more than one reference. And of course, this is in brackets. We've got the and sign here for the second reference. And then in-text citations, the basics, you're going to use the surnames of the author and the year of publication. So again, in this one here, you can see Smith and Jones with the year. We are not using their first names, and because this is outside of the brackets, we're using the word and. But if the names are in brackets, we use the and sign and not the word. So Smith and Jones, 2006. We're going to use et al. For 3 or more authors, even if this is the first mention. So Smith et al., period, comma, and then the date. So for the in-text citations, if there are 3 or more authors, we only list the first author along with et al. And when referencing multiple sources, list the authors alphabetically separated by semicolons. For any unusual citations, check Purdue OWL. So here's an example in the text of in-text citations. So here we've got, as understood by Carter et al., comma, and because we're saying it's understood by this particular author, we do not have it in brackets. But then when we have further down the next citation, we've got a citation from another citation, along with multiple citations in brackets here. So you can see what that looks like on the page. So if you think about every single paragraph that you have should have at least one citation to it. Now, here's another example of in-text citations. You can see that, and this is from one of my business English classes, you can see that we have multiple authors for one statement here. And so if you're saying something in recent years, the rate of available affordable housing has plummeted, and the European Union has been working to solve the crisis. This sounds more like common information, so we've got multiple sources, as you should have for any sort of generalization. Here's another example where we can see multiple citations in the text. And here's a third one. This particular student was writing in a different format. This is not an APA, but this is also from my business English class. And you can see that we've got a larger piece of text here, but then at the end, we've got all of the different sources for this paragraph. Okay, so now that we've done the in-text citations, let's look at the reference list that should be at the back of a thesis or an article. A reference list appears at the end of the paper, but it will be before the appendix or the supplementary material. The authors will appear in alphabetical order in APA. If you're not using APA, the reference list may be numbered. The last names are used with initials for the first and middle names. And you should have everything listed properly in APA using the DOI. The DOI is the identification number of the article. So just like each person will have a passport number or an ID number, the DOI is the ID number of the article. You're going to use a URL, so it will be https://goi.org/ and then the number. It usually starts with 10. And then all lines after the first line are indented with hanging indentation. So with hanging indentation, you're going to select the reference, you're going to right click, you're going to click on paragraph, then look at indentation and then select hanging. So that's how you would do that. So here's an example from a reference list. You can see that we've got the hanging indentation here. We can see that it's in alphabetical order. We've got the last names or surnames along with the initials for the first and middle. We've got the date in brackets, and book titles or journal titles will be in italics, but if it's an article title, like as we can see in the 5th reference here, the article title is not going to be in italics, but the name of the journal and the volume is in italics. And then we've got the DOI number at the end, formatted exactly as said, and you can see these are all in hanging indentation. Now also, if there are up to 20 authors, you are going to list all 20 authors. This is new for APA 7. In previous editions of APA, it was up to 6 authors. So for APA 7, you're going to list up to 20 authors. If there are more than 20 authors, which is very unlikely, then you're going to use an ellipsis. So here's another example. This is not formatted in APA because it is not double spaced for an academic paper, but you can see here we've got the hanging indentation and you can see all of the DOIs are highlighted. So this comes to the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.